On this week's episode, I had to resort to some clickbait since we're talking about 10 escape room clones in honor of Escape Room Tournament of Champions coming out soon. But here's the thing, at least half of the movies that we're talking about today came out before the 2019 big budgeted film of that name. So when I say clones, I mean just clones of movies taking place in an escape room environment. Like movies that are just based on escape rooms. Clones of that and not that specific movie. So don't roast me.
Number 10. In an oh-so-clever twist on the title, 2018 gave us No Escape Room. See, it's like an escape room, but there's no escape. Get it? This one was for sci-fi, and we get a bit of a different setup as we follow a dad and his daughter and their fractured relationship, stranded in a small town. So they kill time by going to an escape room and have a great time and mend their relationship.
Probably not. They're probably going to deal with some murder stuff.
They get paired up with some other participants, and there appears to be some sort of otherworldly force in the room with them. And there's some nice production values to the room. And things start getting real, although the characters and the audience aren't sure what's a part of the game. This is one in which, as the characters solve the puzzle, you realize that there are things that would probably be unsolvable in the real world, and characters only figure them out because the script said to. Like, if this was an actual escape room, no one would ever figure these puzzles out. But there's some good stuff happening in this one. It has some nice atmosphere, there's some decent character stuff, but it's a bit slow in the middle, and the ending it's a real letdown, but I enjoyed it. It was alright. Number 9. From 2016, we have Riddle Room, which came out kind of before the escape room movie Explosion. It sets us up with Emily here, who wakes up in a strange room and is seemingly being held there by mysterious men in masks and something in her neck. There seem to be hints around the room, like a puzzle, and Sackhead Man pops in with a distorted voice, and yeah, this is heavily Saw influenced. I mean, the crossover between Saw and Escape Room is pretty closely tied, so it's tough to make an escape room style film that doesn't feel like Saw, so I guess it's only natural. Yeah, I mean, they keep asking her about a specific date, and they're timing her, and there's clues around the room for her to try and figure out why she's there, and this one clearly belonged more in my Saw ripoff video than this one because it's not really set up like an escape room, but it's freaking called Riddle Room, so whatever, I'm rolling with it. And I mean, it's fine and all. For a movie all shot in one room, it looks nice, the lead's performance is fine, but hot damn is this one boring. Not much happens at all for really long stretches of time, and yeah, ultimately the puzzle in the room is barely even an afterthought, and when the secrets are revealed, it's just really confusing. And I don't mean confusing like I don't understand what happened. I get that. I mean confusing like, why did someone think that this made sense for the movie that we had seen up until this point? Number 8. Next up, we're looking at 2017's Tangent Room, which promises a more sci-fi take on the scenario and takes us to Chile. And the setup is familiar, with 4 scientists locked into a room together with a recording telling them that they have to solve a puzzle in order to get out. He also says that if they don't solve the puzzle, they will all die. So even with the added wrinkle of the science element, it still starts off basically as an escape room, just with 4 hours to escape instead of the usual 1. Unlike the other films, though, it appears as if they're trying to stop the appearance of a freaking black hole, not only killing the people in the room, but probably everyone. They start their calculations complicated by the 2 universes merging, creating duplicates of themselves in the room, jumping back and forth through reality. It introduces some funny, heady science stuff, and it's only just over an hour, so it doesn't really wear out its welcome considering that it's just a few people in a room. And except for a little bit of bickering at one point, it's not a bunch of people with unnecessary drama thrown in for the hell of it. Keep in mind, though, that it really appears to have been made for a couple $100, and it's literally just people discussing math in a room for an hour, and the ending is a bit of a letdown, but I actually enjoyed it for what it was. Number 7. This next one, bear with me since a bunch of these titles are really similar, is 2020's No Escape, not to be confused with Escape Room, and apparently also called Follow Me. Well, we have a Logan Paulish dude on a trip with a bunch of people going to Russia for a really exclusive escape room experience, and it's promoted as a one-of-a-kind escape room that changes for every participant, and they're streaming it live. It kicks off pretty dark with Cole needing to cut into a cadaver to find a key, which, you know, we've seen before, and his friends are all stuck in torture devices. As he figures some of them out, they're released, but they soon figure out that the stakes are real, although the puzzles are all pretty easy. But then it turns out that Russian mobsters are involved with their own streaming agenda, and it approaches the finale that you pretty much see coming from a mile away. It's like really obvious, and the fact that the credits give all this background info revealing the inner workings of the twist means that they really thought that it was gonna be unexpected, but
yeah, not really.
And you know what? I'm gonna talk about it, so if you don't want the end spoiled, I guess skip ahead. But the whole thing is a setup from Cole's friends. So, to get this straight, their idea of a fun birthday prank was to set up this elaborate game and then fake a scenario in which he sees his friends tortured to death and his girlfriend's brains blown out right in front of him. And then 30 seconds later, aren't expecting him to be in a violent rage. Why would they think that anyone would think that this is a fun prank? And why would they send the guy that they're setting up to be behind it all to face Cole down one-on-one? What the hell did they think was going to happen? I mean, anyone would have killed this guy. I really think that the filmmakers were going for a, oh my god, what did he just do kind of reaction. But come on, movie, come on. Number 6. We move on now to 2019's Play or Die, and here we have a young couple who have already been playing a game and beat the first round, and now move on to the next level, which starts at a rave, but then quickly takes them to an abandoned hospital, where they're teamed up with another group of people for a game called Paranoia. The games begin with apparent deadly consequences, although it's clear that they're not working together with the other teams, and that it's sort of a competition. One of the traps includes one of my new movie pet peeves, CGI fire, and they start finding the other players dead. And there's information about a woman who was actually admitted to the hospital when it was open, and they start to believe that that woman is now killing them with screwdrivers. They kind of set it up as a mystery, as they never show who's killing them except for their hands, but because of the way it's told, and with our characters splitting up all the time, well, I mean, you've got a 50-50 shot at guessing who the killer is. And yeah, the ending, it's, yeah. I mean, this one's, it's fine. It's not too insulting, and it moves along at a decent pace. And, I mean, you could do a lot worse with your hour and 30. Number 5. This next one's a bit of a cheat since it's skirting the criteria for the premise a bit, and I'll be honest, this is one that I didn't fit into my Saw ripoff video, but it's 2009's Exam. And although it's not a super close fit, it's definitely a bit of an early escape room. Anyway, this one is about 8 people in a room together when laser-cubed guy comes in to tell them that they're all up for a job, and they have 80 minutes to prove that they are the most suited for it. They're not supposed to write on their paper, as a woman is ejected as soon as she does, and they realize that it's a puzzle that they have to solve, which makes it kind of an escape room, so I feel justified, but only slightly. They start to figure the puzzles out, and I have to say that it's pretty damn well written. It does drag a little bit in the middle, and they have 80 minutes on the clock, and yet the movie runs 100. And one of those characters is one of those guys that are just constantly horrible to everyone around them all the time, just in order to create gratuitous tension and drama. But I dig it. It kept me engrossed the whole time, forgetting the fact that the entire thing takes place in one room with a limited cast as they ramp up the tension and the stakes. And you know what? Between the Saw ripoff list and this list, because I think they're kind of similar, the biggest complaint that I have in general is that a lot of the endings suck. But this one sticks it. It's a nice ending to a pretty solid film. And I probably would have had it a little bit higher up on this list if it weren't for the slight break in theme. Number 4. And now we had the oldest one on this list is 2007's Fermat's Room. And you can't really call this one a knockoff of anything, except maybe Cube. It's from Spain and has a pretty familiar setup with several esteemed mathematicians being invited to a special convention by a mystery man named Fermat. They arrive at his room in the middle of nowhere and he introduces himself, but they soon discover that he's not who he says he is, while at the same time realizing that the walls are starting to close in. They keep getting sent math problems with time limits, and if they solve the puzzles, the walls temporarily stop. Meanwhile, the group unearths secrets about each other as well as their assumed host, and if you have a fear of being swished between walls like the Cyclops in Krull or Saw 5, I mean not the Cyclops in Saw 5, you know what I mean, but if you have that fear, like me, you will tense up every time you hear the rumblings of these walls start up, and holy crap, I just don't want to go that much further with discussing this one because it's damn great, and I highly recommend watching it and letting the enigmas unfold, so check it out. Number 3. 2020 gave us Escape Puzzle of Fear, which was definitely influenced by the 2019 version based on this poster. This one starts off with some escape room organizers going to some drastic measures, and then we meet a group of probably the most annoying characters you're gonna come across. Like, within 5 minutes, you hate all of these people. And then one of them just, I don't know, randomly brings up the time that they killed a little girl about 20 years ago, just out of the blue starts talking about it with his friend, and it just so happens that this girl, I guess, is that little girl's sister, like secretly getting revenge. They then watch a trailer for an escape room.
Okay. Where did I find the clues? I found the clues.
So I don't know for sure, but I think that little okay was not a part of the scene. I think that they just forgot to edit that part out.
I'm not sure if it was intentional to make the trailer seem unprofessional or if the movie is just unprofessional. They go to the Escape Hotel in Hollywood, which is actually a real place, and are paired up with more horrible people.
No phones.
Suck a dick.
It's like this movie takes place in the Rob Zombie universe.
The danger of the room doesn't kick in until the freaking hour mark of the movie, and it does so with this amazing electrical special effect. And our main character is revealed to be a killer himself. So, hey, movie, who am I supposed to be rooting for here? I should also point out that after this moment, it stops becoming an escape room and no one tries to figure out any puzzles. It's just people revealing their secrets and pasts to each other, and I think the end is supposed to be a twist because they treat it like it is, but if it is, it's the most poorly executed and obvious twist of all time, and this one, I was going to say that it's just absolutely terrible, but you know what? The whole movie is just magically turned around, and it saves itself in the very end with the stellar performance of this police officer character who steals the entire show.
Did he say anything else to you?
You might say that her performance is arresting.
Josh, I don't know what to do with that.
Oh, hey, it's Katie Doll. Katie, welcome to the show.
So happy to be here. Officer number 4, reporting for duty.
How did you get involved with Escape Puzzle of Fear?
My friend Lizzie Gordon actually wrote this script, and last minute, I believe it was 1 or 2 days before filming, they had an actor that dropped out, and I got a phone call, and next thing I know, I'm on set in Hollywood.
I have to ask about what appears to be a giant policeman's uniform.
Yeah, so that was really funny. I actually, remind me, I will try to dig up the photo of me on set that day, because I look like I'm a 12-year-old boy who is trying to dress up and look tough as a police officer. They just had a bunch of police uniforms there, and that was the one they gave me, so I figured I'll do my best.
Now, you've actually made some shorts yourself that have played in quite a few festivals.
So I wrote and directed and starred in the film We'll Never Make It, which you can see on Amazon. And that is the story of a young woman who gets stuck on the side of the road with her crazy Jewish grandma and autistic brother on the way to a family wedding. And it is heavily influenced by a real story from my life. And it's a really fun watch. It's kind of like Little Miss Sunshine, you know, like a character study, wacky family road trip.
And now you have a very successful podcast.
Yes, it's called Crying Behind Sunglasses. It's a mental health podcast for cool people. Basically, I interview a lot of comedians, entertainers, self-help professionals about their mental health journey or depression, anxiety, etc., and try to find a way to laugh about it. You know, I mean, I feel like if for my own personal journey with anxiety and panic disorder, if you can find a way to laugh about it, then it doesn't have power over you anymore. So that's been really fun. I started that during the pandemic, and it's been a year now, and it's been really rewarding.
So have you ever done an escape room yourself?
Yeah, actually, weirdly enough, the exact escape room that we filmed in Hollywood, I had done that one because I had a friend who worked there.
Well, thank you for popping in and sharing your experience with this film, sharing it with us.
Thank you so much, and I was really happy to put Nick Turturro in his place, because he's hitting on so many women in this film. Someone's got to say something.
Number 2. Not to be confused with 2019's Escape Room, next up is a movie called Escape Room that actually came out in 2017, 2 years earlier. And hey, is that the gateway to the tall man's world? Look, he was even going to touch them like that. He was going to put his hands on them. This opening actually feels very Saw reminiscent, what with the single guy, a death trap, and a man watching on closed-circuit TV. And then we meet 6 friends on one's birthday, and they all go to, what else? An escape room. Similar to the 2019 film, they get a mysterious box in the mail from an unknown source, and as a nice touch, when the lady says that we have 1 hour, there's just over 1 hour left to go in the movie. The characters are split into separate rooms and just show a complete lack of initiative to solve any puzzles. I mean, I know it's supposed to be all of their first times in one, but they all act like they have no clue what to do at all. Like one couple has sex in the room. The puzzles are pretty interesting, and once the stakes get raised, it has some good tense moment, but it takes way too long for the danger of the rooms to kick in, and some genuinely unlikable characters. I should point out that this one is also by Will Wernick, who made No Escape as well. And wait, didn't that one also have a guy on a special occasion being taken to a really elite escape room? I mean, is that a sequel to this one? Well, no, or at least it doesn't appear to be. There's no linking characters or even situations, considering that that one was revealed to have nothing sinister actually happening. And in this one, well, it's not an elaborate ruse, but that ending, I mean, the hell was that ending supposed to be? Number 1. So not just one, but 2 movies in 2017 came out with the title Escape Room, but the first to be released has a little Billy Loomis action, some Lieutenant Einhorn, and Skeet here runs an escape room and wants to buy this box.
It's called the Skull Box.
I mean, what else would you call this box that looks just like a friggin' skull?
We meet our game players, and there's 4 of them, and unlike its bigger budget counterpart, This looks like an actual escape room, just some little hallway in a building with a few doors. Their room has a live actor in it, and the box is there, and the presence within starts to make the game a little too real. Weirdly, when the possessed villain pulls out the camera, Bryce doesn't go right in to see what the deal is, which is, yeah, that's a little suspect, but no big deal. And this is one of those rooms in which the villain of the room gets a little closer to you every couple of minutes, so the characters have to finish the room before he gets to them. It's a nice enough premise, since anytime someone is in one of those types of rooms, I'm sure that the thought in their head is, hey, what if this guy was the real deal and actually trying to kill me? And this movie is just that. Characters doing an escape room, while someone in the room is real. It's enjoyable enough and entertaining and relatable, even if the puzzles they complete seem like a little easy. I mean, like they should have been able to figure out some of these things a lot easier. And you also have to suspend disbelief about how soundproof these rooms would be, that the people outside don't hear anything that's going on in them. It's a nice, simple, shot mostly in one room movie, and it's worth checking out as long as you're not expecting to be blown away or anything.
So there you have it. It's 10 movies that are basically escape rooms or take place in an escape room or something that's similar to an escape room. This video was kind of an extension of the Saw ripoff list that I had a while back. These were movies that I had pulled for that list, but just didn't seem to fit the Saw ripoff category as much. So this is kind of I guess a part 2 to that in a way, tying it in with the escape room which is coming up, which, you know, I'm actually kind of optimistic about. I enjoyed the first one. It was silly fun. I wasn't mad at it. It wasn't a great movie, but it certainly wasn't a bad movie. It was enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to the second one. Quite a few movies on this list were a lot of fun. I enjoyed at least half of these were pretty enjoyable, and a couple of them were great. I loved For Matt's Room, and Exam was pretty cool. A couple of the escape room with the guy in the room I thought was pretty cool. I liked quite a few of these. These were fun, so check them out if you haven't seen these already. Quite a few of these are good. If you know of any other movies that are set in an escape room, please leave them down below in the comments. Or if you've done an escape room yourself and you did really well or you had a good experience, let me know about that. I've done a couple myself and I've always enjoyed them. I'd like to do more escape rooms. They're fun. As always, please like the video, leave me a comment, click on subscribe. If you haven't, click that little bell so you get notifications about when the videos are up. And then also please check out the Patreon page. These guys are on my Patreon page. They're my patrons and they're awesome, and I thank them very, very much for helping keeping this channel going. You can do the same thing at patreon.com/movietimelines. Go there and help support this channel. But you can also support the channel just by watching the videos, which I very much appreciate you doing. So thank you very much, and I'll see you very shortly, guys, for another great video. Thank you. Bye-bye.